What do you reckon's been the greatest piece of advice you've ever received?
Yeah. When you asked me about that, I was thinking about whether somebody had, pulled me aside that I really respected and, changed my life with a few words. And honestly, the thing that stood out to me wasn't something that somebody told me, but it was something that I read, which was anything worth doing in life is worth underdoing.
Okay.
And I thought that's a weird reflection.
Say it again.
Anything worth doing in life is worth underdoing.
Underdoing.
Yeah.
Okay, so unpack that.
Yeah. So sort of flies in the face of what we're normally told. But something that I think anyone out there who is a perfectionist or anyone who doesn't want to be too much of a risk taker, we want to know all the answers before we start stuff.
Yeah. Are you a bit of a perfectionist and non-risk taker?
Yeah, at times. And definitely probably when I'm most unsure about what the next step is, all of that stuff gets a little more intense. But I mean, it's the same as, I guess, anyone who is, who's sort of putting off doing that uni assignment or putting off that hard conversation or, moving jobs or moving cities or whatever. It's that challenge of going, I don't know how this is going to work out, so I won't start it.
Yeah.
I'll just kind of keep feeling around, waiting for that moment when I feel completely equipped, and then I'll do the thing and I'll do it perfectly.
Which happens never.
All the time you sort of delayed with that, and then you realize that, you look back in time and that decision that you kept putting off, you were never going to make that because you were never going to feel like you were at the point where you're ready to sort of jump in. So I think the idea of anything worth doing in life is worth underdoing is the idea that just start it. Even if you're not going to get it 100% the first time, just do it and do it poorly, and you guarantee that you will move that needle a little bit. And that's been really helpful for me in work. In putting my hand to new hobbies, trying new stuff. I want to learn how to skate. Well, I can't skate and I'm going to suck at it. So either I sit back and wait until I'm an expert on everything skating
just quickly
and then I'll pick up a board.
Yeah.
Or I can buy one and I can start trying, and I can suck at it. But hey, you're moving that needle all the time. And that is something that I think as you sort of get to the back end of your 20s, is a great lesson to learn, because I think as we get older, we sort of feel like it gets more embarrassing to be bad at stuff, right? We should start to have it all together at this stage. So that's been really pretty life-changing for me, actually, to accept that it's okay to do things poorly because at least you're doing them, and you guarantee that you'll never start on anything if you wait until you feel fully equipped.
Yeah. What are some other examples that you've used that in your own life?
I think probably one of them recently was I was given the opportunity to go down to Sydney and do some work.
Okay.
And it kind of came out of the blue. It was a time sort of mid last year where obviously sort of COVID restrictions were in full swing. And I had moved on I've sort of been demoted and was doing a site job because we had limited work sort of with the construction company that I work for. And I got given this opportunity to go to Sydney, and I was like, it's a chance to actually do sort of the work that I've studied for at uni, and I can stop pushing a broom around on site and actually, do my job. But that was a point where I was like, I didn't really know enough about it. It was kind of like, do you want to move to Sydney? Yeah, the borders are shut at the moment. And we can't promise you when you'll be coming back, and we can't promise you what project you'll be working on. We just know that there's not much for you to do in Brisbane, and we're expecting there will be in Sydney.
So a lot of uncertainty.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so it was a chance to go, okay, I really don't know how this is going to turn out. I don't know if this is going to make me really unhappy. But I guarantee that I'll never know the answer to that if I don't just put up my hand and just take the next steps. The next step is just saying, hey, I'm interested. And the next step after that is saying, book me a flight, get me accommodation, sort of figure this thing out one thing at a time. And it ended up being, pretty amazing experience, to do that. But I think that, a couple of years ago, if that had been brought to me, it would have just been put in the too hard box. Let somebody else figure that out. Yeah. Somebody who's more capable and more confident, So
yeah, that's good. I think it's so applicable, hey, because I've heard that same advice. I really like the way that you said it, though. That if it's worth doing, it's worth underdoing, not undoing. That's a totally different conversation. But like I've heard it as in kind of like start before you're ready.
Yeah,
which is that's something I've been so challenged with. Is kind of if I want to do something, just have a crack at it. That's what I try and tell a lot of different people in all different. Skating's a perfect example. I used to skate, and I was trying to get back into skating a couple of years ago with a good mate of mine. And you watch. There's so many Instagram. Those I get stuck in like skate loops on Instagram where you just watch skate things, and it just keeps feeding you.
Because if you watch it and you give it like a few minutes, that algorithm knows, and it just starts feeding it to you.
Yeah, I reckon I've watched like every New York skater do something on Instagram. Yeah. But you start getting in your head, I'll just be like that when I get there. And then you go back to the skate park and it's trash.
Yeah.
You're getting abused by little 4-year-olds on scooters and stuff.
On their ripsticks.
Yeah, but it's easy. And we gave up. Well, I gave up. And but I go, if I had just kept pushing through there, it would have, I wouldn't have been a pro, I don't think.
Yeah.
But I would have been a lot further along than I am now, which is back at square one.
And ultimately the goal with the things we do as well, it's also not always the goal to be the best at everything we do. Yeah. Maybe we just do it because we enjoy it, If we can't get satisfaction out of things unless we're perfect, we're never going to reach that level. Like we're never going to ultimately feel like we can rest and enjoy the things we're doing.
Yeah.
And I think it's great to strive for that excellence in the things that matter and in your work and in your relationships. And we should always, want to do the best we can. But if we're saying to ourselves, well, we're not going to be satisfied until it's at that level, we will live unfulfilled lives.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's understanding that there is certain aspects, and it's a hard thing to say, but there is certain things in our life that it's okay to be mediocre at.
Yeah.
And if it brings us joy in that moment, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And there's certain things that we should try to be the best at. Like I'm married. I think everyone should probably try and have the best marriage they can possibly have, or be the best friend, that sort of stuff. But if you want to go out and have fun skating, go and have it. You don't have to be the next Tony Hawk. Don't put that pressure on yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And you're not doing it to prove your value to anyone either. And sometimes it's just about letting yourself off the hook with that stuff and going, you know what, it's okay to be bad at things. If I'm enjoying it and it's bringing sort of value to my life, and it's a hobby, go out there and be bad at it.
And the cool thing is, the more that you go and be bad at something, the better that you'll get over time. Exactly. A lot of times, unless you're like intentionally trying to be bad at something. But
maybe you get really good at that.
Yeah, exactly. But it's true. Like repetition is everything.
Yeah.
So kind of like 10,000 hours, but maybe to skate in an enjoyable way. We've turned this conversation into a big skateboarding conversation.
We have somehow. Yeah,
it's a good analogy.
Yeah.
Maybe you only need 10 hours of just kind of pushing through that, getting your balance, that sort of stuff, before you can cruise around a skate park and have fun.
Yeah,
it's probably another 10,000 hours before you become a pro. But maybe you don't have to do that. Or who knows, if you enjoy it enough, you might just reach that 10,000 hours in 20 years and end up being pretty good at it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think the important thing is just tearing down those barriers that stop us from trying stuff. Again, to bring it back to the age thing, I think as we get a little older, we start to tell ourselves no. It's really odd. We just sort of start to say, oh no, I'm not the person that does that because I've never done it before.
Yeah.
There's skating's one of them, but then, man, there's a lot of amazing experiences out there, You know, there's a lot of amazing things that we can do with our time. And you see people who take on new hobbies and they try things, and you ask them about it, and it's often that they just at some point just put their hand up and said, oh yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Before that point, they were never the person who did it, you know, but they've crossed that threshold now where it's they went from knowing nothing about it to knowing a little bit about it. And hey, that not only has developed them as a person, it's given them depth, but it's also given them joy because they've tried something new. And I think most people get that level of satisfaction. It's like, I thought I was this person, and then I found out that I tried something new and I had fun doing it, you know, and they've again felt like they've grown as a person. And I think that that's such a healthy thing for us to feel that way. We shouldn't be feeling like our life is sort of shrinking in around us, or that we have to be the person that we've always been because that's what people expect of us.